Hello and Minglaba, welcome to Myanmar Today. I'm Henry Zin with the latest news and reports from around Myanmar. Williamson prepared a report on the role of MFI for common people. Our reporter in Beijing, Thora, got a report on 11th International Charity Sales of Love Knows No Border charity event. David Tanner covered a story on paintings and sketches from Berlin art exhibition. Yana has a report on Myanmar National Human Rights Commission calls a meeting, reviews its law. Before we get to the reports, let's check on some local news. At Naypyidaw's Hilton Hotel on Wednesday, Myanmar's Anti-Corruption Commission signed a letter of intent, LOI, with Denmark's Ministry of Foreign Affairs for acquiring technical assistance in compiling surveys related to combating corruption and capacity building. ACC Chairman U Wang-ji and Danish State Secretary for Development Policy, Ms. Trine Rask Thygesen, both delivered opening addresses. This was followed by U Tin-jo, Director General of ACC's Administration Department, and Danish Ambassador Mr. John Nielsen signing the LOI. Afterwards, the ACC Chairman and Danish State Secretary separately met to discuss promoting integrity and anti-corruption measures. Union Minister for International Cooperation U Jyotin received the newly appointed Resident Coordinator of the United Nations Systems Operational Activities for Development in the Republic of the Union of Myanmar, Ola Elmgren, at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs in Naypyidaw on Wednesday. Mr. Ola Elmgren presented his credentials to the Union Minister during the meeting. The officials also exchanged views on ways to strengthen cooperation between Myanmar and the United Nations in Myanmar's efforts for peace and national reconciliation, democracy and development, and the implementation of Myanmar's Sustainable Development Plan, the role of the new resident coordinator system of the United Nations, and the efforts of the government of Myanmar for repatriation of displaced persons from Rakhine State and creating a conducive environment for returnees. Union Minister for Social Welfare, Relief and Resettlement Dr. Win Myat-ae separately received New Zealand Ambassador Stephen Marshall and Norwegian Ambassador Ms. Tone Tennes. During the meeting with Mr. Marshall, the officials discussed capacity building for human resources, promoting the livelihoods of people with disabilities, providing them rehabilitation programs and greater access to judicial rights. During the meeting with Ms. Tone Tennes, the officials discussed sharing information on landmine assisting landmine victims with rehabilitation, the fourth Conference of Anti-Personnel Mine Ban Convention coming up next month in Oslo, Norway, the latest situation in Rakhine State, and carrying out landmine clearance for resettling IDPs. That's all with the local news, and we're moving on to our first report. With the growing economy of the nation, microfinance has become one of the most important sources for people who want to start their own businesses. According to microfinance companies in Myanmar, many startups here in Myanmar are reliable in microfinance. Therefore, it has also become a source for average people to improve their living standards.
With the growing economy of the country and the demand of financial services among the entrepreneurs, microfinance services have become one of the most important services in providing financial support for the business groups. Microfinance has also become one of the most reliable sources for most of the startups, as taking loan is the only solution for many of startups in Myanmar. On 30th of October, MAB or Myanmar Apex Banks signed an agreement with 5 microfinance companies, mostly foreign companies, which will allow MAB to support these 5 microfinance companies by lending 57 billion kyats for their services. Speaking to MI Radio on how important microfinance service for the startups in Myanmar, U Johnny Kin, Chief Business Officer of MAB, said,
In my opinion, nowadays we see many businesses are starting up their business by relying on microfinance, as there is difficulty in access to finance in our country. For example, the locals will do their business with microfinance with approximate 10 million kyats. And then we have SMEs and medium businesses where we have food and dairy startups, transport companies, and other small business which are running with the support from microfinance service under the budget of 10 to 500 million kyats. So there are also some bigger companies which we work as corporate.
As microfinance plays an important role in supporting small businesses in Myanmar, and according to the report by microfinance companies, it will continue to play its vital role in creating employment opportunities in Myanmar. Speaking to MI Radio on the importance of microfinance service in Myanmar, Mr. Famit Karim Bhuiya, chairman of PAC Global Microfinance Fund, said,
Microfinance is very important for the bottom of the pyramid, villagers and common people who are not rich, who cannot go to the bank for borrowing from the bank because they don't have collateral or security. So microfinance is giving them loan without security, without collateral, without mortgage. So microfinance is giving them access for the credit, for the loan, for using for their businesses, for their farming, for their other animal raising, all these things. So giving capital access to the poor people is very important. Traditional banks, they are working for the rich people who can give collateral and mortgage. But MFIs are giving credit to the people who cannot give collateral or mortgage. So it is very important because in Myanmar, 70% people are living in villages. And most of them do not have collateral or security to give to the bank to borrow.
According to the report by PAC Global Microfinance Funds, most of the people who take bank loans mostly engage with agricultural activities, animal raising, farming. Some people are buying and selling commodities. Speaking on whether microfinance is the main solution for poverty alleviation in Myanmar or not, Mr. Famit Karim Bhuiya also explains.
I don't think microfinance alone can be the solution for poverty alleviation. For poverty alleviation, it will need lots of intervention. First of all, it will need government's policy intervention. But microfinance can play an important role for poverty alleviation because microfinance can provide access to capital. Because for poverty alleviation, poor people need more capital. Young people need more capital for engaging in their farming, in their business. Microfinance can play a very important role by providing that credit to the clients and borrowers so that they can be self-sustaining, their income level can go up, they can have better income, better nutrition, health, and better farming practice. So microfinance has certain role, important role, but microfinance cannot do this alone.
But what is the current status of microfinance market in Myanmar? Let's hear out from Mr. Famit Karim.
You know that Myanmar government has priority for microfinance for poverty alleviation. So they are creating an environment for more microfinance institutions to come and provide more capital for the poor people and farmers. So I expect in the future microfinance will continue the same role and microfinance will bring more capital. Foreign MFIs will bring more capital and investment for microfinance sector in Myanmar so that microfinance sector can grow bigger and much strong sector in Myanmar for poverty alleviation.
This is Williamson reporting for MI Radio.
That's a report on the role of MFI for common people. All right, we'll move on to weather forecast. In Yangon, it will be mostly sunny during the day and there will be just clear skies at night. The temperature throughout the day will be in the mid-30s and there's an extremely low chance of rain for the day with wind gusts at 11 kilometers per hour. In Naypyidaw, it will be partly sunny during the day and there will be mainly clear skies at night. The temperature throughout the day will be in the mid-30s as well and there's an extremely low chance of rain for the day with wind gusts at 9 kilometers per hour. In Mandalay, it will be mostly sunny and very warm during the day, and it will be partly cloudy at night. The temperature throughout the day will be in the mid-30s as well, and there's also a very low chance of rain for the day with wind gusts at 13 kilometers per hour. Stay with us, we have another report coming up, and then we'll check on the stocks and currency exchange rates. The 11th International Charity Sales of Love Knows No Border charity event took place in Beijing last Sunday. Our reporter Thora joined the event and she's got more details about the charity.
Hello everyone, this is your reporter Thora reporting you from MI Radio. China has been making many efforts for the poverty alleviation in the country and trying to help the people enter the poverty line. This international charity sales, Love Knows No Border, was hosted by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of the People's Republic of China and the China Foundation for Poverty Alleviation (CFPA). This is the 11th charity sales for the Love Knows No Border, and they have been raising funds for the people in the villages and cities of China, which are still under the poverty line. The event took place on the Sunday morning beside of the National Batna Stadium in Beijing. It started with the introduction video about CFPA and the history of Love Knows No Border charity sales. Also in the video, they explained that all the funds for this 11th charity event will be used for the children by building the school playgrounds at the villages in the Jinping and Malipo, which locate in the southwest of the Yunnan province. After that, Ms. Chen Wei, who initiated this charity sales, gave the opening speech. During the speech, she expressed that this charity sales has grown into a window for the countries to showcase cultural and ethnicity diversity and also a platform for the Chinese people to interact with the world at the close range. Last year, from the 10 charity sales, all the funds were used for the medical procedures, including cochlear implant operations for hearing impaired children in rural and poor areas of Gansu province. During the event, one of the parents whose children went through cochlear implant in the last year came up to the stage and shared his story about how his child's daily life have been improved after the medical treatment. He expressed his sincere thanks to the organization and all the people who involved in this successful charity. After that, they show a video of the children who got cochlear implant from the last year's charity sales and how much they have been improved after the medical treatment. After the traditional dance by the youth of Malipo County in China, the program continued to award presenting ceremony for the foreign embassies and certificate presenting ceremony for the sponsor enterprises to appreciate all the donations and supportings they gave for this charity. There were about 100 exhibitions from the embassies around the world and some Chinese enterprises displaying and selling the traditional gifts and local products. Myanmar Embassy in China also took part in these charity sales and displayed many local products and traditional handicrafts. Later in the opening ceremony, China State Councilor and Foreign Minister Mr. Wang Yi came and visited to the Myanmar exhibition area. Okay, so that's all about the report now. This is your reporter daughter reporting you from MI Radio, and see you again.
That's a report on 11th International Charity Sales of Love Knows No Border charity event. And here we have the information on currency rates from Myanmar Central Bank. $1 is at 1,528 kyats. One Chinese renminbi is at 216 kyats. €1 is at 1,699 kyats. £1 is at 1,967 kyats. $1 is at 1,121 kyats. 1 Malaysian ringgit is at 365 kyats. 1 Thai baht is at 50 kyats, and the Indian rupee is at 21 kyats. Gold is trading at $1,497. Silver is at $17, and Brent crude oil is at $55. On the Yangon Stock Exchange, FMI is at 11,500. MTSH is at 3,950. MCB remains at 8,400. FPB is at 23,500. TMH is at 3,000. You're with MI Radio's Myanmar Today. You can log on to our website at miradio.com.mm and catch other great programs live on the website. We're also running on FM 96.1 in Yangon, 96.5 in Manali, and 96.7 in Naypyidaw. Or simply download our app so you can listen to our radio programs on the go. Well, we have more reports for you, and we're not going to keep you waiting, so let's get down to it. Paintings and sketches from Berlin Art Exhibition was held at Gallery 65 on Tuesday and Wednesday. The artists of the exhibition include well-known Saya Winpei Mian, Ko Jolin, and Ma Mian. The paintings and sketches in the exhibition are their exciting personal experiences of their trip to Berlin. David Tanner will give us the details.
As the art exhibition was a collaborative performance of 3 artists, each with their own perspective, we can feel the artistic senses and what they have in mind through their artworks. What kind of influences do they have in their paintings and sketches, as they are based on the environment, landmarks and places of German capital of Berlin. Artist Ko Jolin, who is one of the 3 artists of the exhibition, told MI Radio about his perspective.
This exhibition is about the collective sketches and paintings by 3 Myanmar artists, Saya Winpei Mian, Ma Mian, and me, during our visit to Berlin. The sketches are about the places, the buildings, the scenes, and the sights of Berlin, which are different from Myanmar. We created the sketches and paintings about the scenes that are still in our minds.
I
have also asked artist Ko Jolin about his experiences on the current market regarding the art industry and explore the positive and negative changes.
The market for paintings and sketches seems normal, even though in the past few years, the exhibition held by foreign countries were more than that of local exhibition. But nowadays, local people tend to buy and collect the paintings more than years ago. As the local exhibition hold frequently these days, people start to get interested in paintings as for the decorations in their houses. So I think most of the paintings are bought by the local people and it balances in market again.
One of the artists in the exhibition was one of the well-known artists, Saya Winpei Mian. In 1970, he graduated from Yangon Arts and Science University with botany major. He has been extremely interested in painting since childhood. He studied under 4 outstanding art masters, Sia Lun Jue, Sia Sri Ong Teng, Sia Bo Uta, and Sia Deng Han. He worked as an art teacher in Regional College 3 from 1984 to 1986. With that said, I have interviewed him about the generational evolution of art industry based on his experiences and his 40 years journey of painting and sketches.
It is surprising that most of our younger generation are keen to take an interest in arts and crafts. Maybe it's because of the impact that Ministry of Education set arts and crafts as a subject. Arts and crafts is now integrated as a subject in grade 3. Hopefully, there will be more integration in the higher grades in the future. So I could say that I'm very positive about the future of our art industry, which will be filled with lots of potential youths. And also, if there will be a significant amount of foreign investment in the industry, there might be a really great market for our local art industry.
What kind of techniques and styles do most of our Myanmar artists have been using, and what will be our Myanmar art industry's future as well as its international potential will also be explained by Sia Winpei Mien.
The techniques that I've used in these paintings are European style, which is the style that we sketch and paint similarly with what we see in our eyes. But for our Myanmar or Eastern style, we draw mostly with our imagination. For example, Go Jo Lin's paintings have been drawn by this kind of techniques, and my vision is that both of the techniques will equally be popular in our country and have a potential market in the international art industry as well. So I don't mean that we can't now. Even some are already in the international art industry now. But what we need at the present time is the platform for the market to be accessible to all of our local artists.
Reporter David Tanner reporting from Myanmar International Radio.
That's a report on paintings and sketches from Berlin Art Exhibition. Well, here's the last report on Myanmar National Human Rights Commission calls a meeting, reviews its law. Myanmar National Human Rights Commission held a meeting on Sunday at Summit Parkview Hotel, where the Commission's members, civil society organizations and legal experts joined. Yenai reports.
Myanmar National Human Rights Commission (MNHRC) called a meeting where the Commission reviewed the MNHRC law. The meeting took place at Summit Parkview Hotel in Yangon on 27 October 2019. U Luen Aung, the member of MNHRC, Dom Mizabepyu, director from Gender Equality Network (GEN), and legal consultant U Tan Tai led the discussions, during which the member of MNHRC, U Luen Aung, stated that the Commission has already visited 60-70 times to 44 prisons and 40-50 times to 50 detention centers across the country. By interviewing individual inmates, the team also finds out the fact that most of the prisoners are serving their terms without any criminal offense.
We try to know every single fact happening in the facility. For example, like which prison officer beat the inmates and who else is smuggling the betel quid. We need to know everything. Only then we can make decisions on how to reform the prison condition. No matter how much they revamp the exterior conditions, how well they treat the good meal for the prisoners, we cannot get the right decision only at a quick glance.
And he also stressed that the Commission is conducting a regular inspection on a monthly basis rather than to respond to any report of human rights abuses. In some cases, they give a surprise check to notorious prisons.
Our team also visits the conflict areas as possible as we can. And the other thing is we also help resolve the cases that happened in the past. And we decide to no longer help the cases more than 5 years ago, as mentioned in the Commission's procedures. But there are still some cases of pathetic human rights violations which happened more than 10 years ago. We help the victims if the case is true. On top of that, we also conduct awareness campaigns in order to share the knowledge to the public, especially for the vulnerable people.
With the great aim to become more reliable and convinced institution, MNHRC also submitted the amendment bill to the President in July 2019. The Commission proposed about 10 facts in the draft bill, including the reforms in the prison inspection. And also, the Commission should be granted the authority to court testimony in the human rights violation cases. Dom Mizabepyu, who is the director of Gender Equality Network, said that the Commission will be able to sort out current challenges if the bill could include the effective ways from legal perspectives.
I'm very glad to hear the commission team inspect the prisons and the detention centers and give support. In my opinion, I would suggest that the commission should also give occasional visits to refugee camps, conflict areas to check any human rights violation and interview the victims.
Myanmar National Human Rights Commission law came into effect on 28 March 2014, so it has now been over 5 years the law has been still in force. MNHRC is a state-level institution basically protecting the basic human rights, protecting from right violations and abuse, and to promote the sense of basic human rights in the society. Law-based civil society support association also calls for it to make sure everyone can enjoy human rights, which being a crucial role in the country's democratic transition, play an important part in consolidating the democratic foundation of the country. The CSO Working Group on MNHRC reform was formed in 2019 and consists of 24 members. It advocates for reform of the MNHRC so it is an effective, independent, and transparent national human rights institution that promotes and protects the rights of all people of Myanmar in line with the Paris Principles.
That's all the reports we have for today. We're now going to look into some international news here on Myanmar Today. Millions more people will be at risk of coastal flooding from climate-driven sea level rise later this century. That's the conclusion of new research conducted by Climate Central, a US-based non-profit news organization. It finds that 190 million people will be living in areas that are projected to be below high tide lines come 2100. Today, the group calculates roughly 110 million are presently occupying these lands, protected by walls, levees, and other coastal defenses. The future at risk total assumes only moderate global warming and therefore limited ocean enrichment. DeepMind says it has created the first artificial intelligence to reach the top league of one of the most popular esport video games. It says StarCraft 2 had posed a tougher AI challenge than chess and other board games, in part because opponents' pieces were often hidden from view. Publication in the peer-reviewed journal Nature allows the London-based lab to claim a new milestone. But some pro gamers have mixed feelings about it, claiming grandmaster status. DeepMind, which is owned by Google's parent company, Alphabet, said the development of AlphaStar would help it develop other AI tools, which should ultimately benefit humanity. You're with MNHRC Radio's Myanmar Today. Thanks for joining me. Have a good day. Goodbye now.